I actually need I see that I'm getting some names in the chat box. If you could click this link that is above, what I would need is for you to click this link, and that link takes you to a Microsoft form, and I'll need you to fill in the information on that form. If you are not able to do that, please just let me know in the chat. And what I will do is at the end of this meeting, I'm going to send everyone who entered the information in the form, I'm going to send a copy of the presentation. You'll also have access to the recording of today's meeting, and you'll also have the documents, the compact, the parent engagement form. I'm going to email all those forms out. So if you can't access the form, what I need for you to do is to enter your email or message me privately in the chat with your email address. Again, that's only if you can't use the form. That way, when I send you, when I send the information out, I will also have your email address so I can send you the information as well. I will also send you an additional link to the form because I really do need everyone's information on that form, as that is our documentation that this meeting took place. So again, if you could please use the Microsoft Forms link that you see above in the chat and enter your information into that form. If you cannot access that form, please send me a private message with your email address, and I will make sure that you get all the information from today's meeting, plus the ability to enter your info in that form as well. So this morning, what we are doing is we are going through our annual Title I parent meeting, where basically we will talk to you about, review with you what Title I means, what the requirements are for Title I schools, also what our plans are to use with the funding that we receive here at Central from the federal government for Title I services. So I will begin the presentation now. I will stop along the way to see if anyone has questions. And I think I've allowed for you to unmute yourself. So please feel free to do that when we get to a spot where there's questions. Again, if the questions that you asked this morning, if they are pertaining to something other than what we're doing with Title I would ask that you send me a message or email me so that we can discuss that in another forum. But we want to keep today's meeting focused on our Title I plan. Again, you already have the sign-in form. Someone has annotated on my screen. I don't know who did it, but I've turned off annotations. So you have the form link already. It's in the chat area. Okay, I see a couple things in the chat says can't hear. I see that twice. My audio is on.
I can hear now, Mr. Frazier.
Okay, thank you. All right, so anytime in the Bibb County School District, any meeting that we have, we always want to go back to what we believe. And in the Bibb County School District, our vision is that each student will demonstrate strength of character and will be college or career ready. Our mission is that the Bibb County School District develops a highly trained staff and an engaged community dedicated to educating each student for a 21st century global society. Our values, these are the things that we live by every day. We want to be competent. We want to demonstrate loyalty, open communication, define autonomy, and honor. These are the values that all employees in the Bibb County School District are asked to adhere to each and every day. We have some non-negotiables in the district. Our non-negotiables are PBIS, RTI, which is response to intervention, FIP, which is formative instructional practices, and TEKS and LEAKS, which are the evaluation instruments for teachers, which is TEKS, and leaders, which is LEAKS. We also believe in being above the line in Bibb County, and there are steps to accountability. In the Bibb County School District, we ask that when we see a problem, we own that problem. We solve that problem and we put into action or do it. Whatever that solution is, we do the solution. And in being above the line, that prevents us from getting into the blame game. We know it's always easy to blame someone else for issues that are coming up. But if we really want to own the problem and really want to solve the problem, we have to see it, we have to own it, we have to solve it, and then we do it. We do not play the blame game. We figure out a solution and we make it happen. Also, our strategy map. And if you see this is the district strategy map, but at Central, we switched it up a little bit because we've got some very ambitious goals. And these are goals that are long range goals. Victory in Schools is our strategic map. We have 6 strategic priorities. Priority 1 is to get students reading on grade level. Priority 2 is be successful on the Georgia milestones. Priority 3 is to increase the number of students in school each day. Priority 4 is to close the knowing-doing gap. Priority 5 is to work hard to support schools. And priority 6, establish a culture of accountability for everyone. So all of the work and the actions that we do each day must fit into one of these 5 broad goal areas, but also within these 6 priorities. And we try to align our work with these priorities. We feel like if learning and growth is done at an optimal level, if we have a reliable organization, if we have effective leaders and effective teachers, we are going to increase student and stakeholder engagement. And when that happens, we're going to increase student achievement. And then we're going to be able to meet our overriding objectives. Now, on the district strategy map, the overriding objective is a CCRPI of 70. And that is an awesome goal. We at Central, like I say, we've got some long-term goals, and we like to keep the focus on our long-term goals. Our long-term goals are to have a CCRPI score of 90 or above, to have a graduation rate of 90 or above, and to have a college and career readiness rate of 90 or above. And that college and career readiness rate is directly related to priority 1, getting students reading on grade level, and priority 2, being successful on the Georgia milestones. So our agenda for today, the things we will talk about is what is a Title I school? How does our school participate in the Title I program? What are the benefits of Title I funding? How does our school spend Title I money? What are our school's Title I school-wide requirements? What are the district and school goals? What curriculum does our school use? What is the College and Career Ready Performance Index, or CCRPI, which I just spoke of? What test will my child take? What is family engagement? What is required by law for parent and family engagement? Does my child's teacher meet professional qualifications? How are parents of English language learners who are eligible to participate in the district's Title III or Title I supplemental language program notified? What opportunities does the school provide for family engagement? How responsive will the school be to questions when staff is contacted? And then at the end, there will be a closing and evaluation. And I will put another link into the chat box for you to use for evaluation. So that is going to be our agenda for today. So what is a Title I school? Well, Title I initially was a part of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965. It was created to ensure that all students have a fair, equal, and significant opportunity to obtain a high-quality education, and each, at a minimum, proficiency on challenging state academic achievement standards and state academic assessments. In 2015, ESSA, as it's called, replaced its predecessor, No Child Left Behind, and modified but did not eliminate provisions relating to periodic standardized tests given to students. Like NCLB, ESSA is a reauthorization of the 1965 Elementary and Secondary Education Act, which established the federal government's expanded role in public education. A Title I school has qualified to receive federal funding under this act. So we receive our funding based on the Elementary and Secondary Education Act. How does our school participate in the Title I program? We use our Title I funding to hire additional teachers and other support staff to reduce class size, by purchasing supplemental instructional materials and educational programs, by conducting parent activities and workshops focusing on content academic areas, by providing professional development for teachers and staff. What are the benefits of Title I? All Bibb County public schools are Title I school-wide programs. In a school-wide school, all students benefit from Title I resources, and parents and family members have substantial and meaningful opportunities to participate in the education of their children. How do we spend our money specifically at Central? Well, we spend it on additional technology resources. For instance, we are in the process of purchasing additional computers for our Edgenuity lab, and these are desktop computers, not laptops. We have, over the past few years, purchased laptops for students, which is one reason why at Central we're able to provide almost right now a one-to-one environment for our students. And additionally, we'll be getting brand new laptops in for students in the coming weeks. Personnel, we use our title money on personnel. We have 3 teachers that we pay for out of title funding. We pay for a math teacher's salary, an art teacher's salary, and an Edgenuity teacher salary, which is our credit recovery program. We also pay for an academic coach out of Title I. And what that academic coach does is that academic coach works directly with the teachers to improve their instructional delivery skills, which is given a direct benefit to our students, because as our teachers become more proficient, then they in turn can help our students to move closer to proficiency as well. And we also pay for 2 hall monitors out of title funding, which helps with the safety and security of the building. Additionally, and I don't know how else, at the bottom, family engagement is also how we spend our money. We have a parent resource center that we purchase supplies for with title money. And we also have a family engagement facilitator that we pay for with title money. So this is how the resources at Central are used. And there are other areas like additional supplies that we provide for teachers. There are software programs that we pay for. For instance, we are using USA Test Prep, which is a highly rated instructional support program. We're going to be sharing that login information with students soon, because that is what they're going to be using on Wednesdays when we're doing tutorials and remediation. But we'll also be doing enrichment, because part of USA Test Prep has an SAT and ACT component as well. So those students who are not needing any additional core content assistance will be able to work on SAT and ACT skills. We also are in the process of purchasing a program called Nearpod, which is an interactive, allows teachers to have interactive lessons with their students online. And that's especially important now that we're in an environment where remote learning is a part of our daily way of doing things. So Nearpod will be something that is very beneficial for our teachers. And there are other instructional programs or software programs that we purchase with title as well to benefit our teachers and benefit our students first and foremost. What are our school's Title I requirements? Well, all teachers must be highly qualified in the core subjects they teach. And parents have the right to know the qualifications of the teachers. We have to utilize proven evidence-based instructional methods in the classroom. And there is a guideline that anytime we're spending or allotting title money for any instructional methods or any purchases that we're making, we must use these federal guidelines to ensure that there is a high probability of success with that program. We can't just pick stuff out of the air and say, hey, this looks good, so we're going to do that. No, it has to be on that list. It has to be research-based. It has to have a proven track record of getting success with students. So that, we can't just go out and pull anything into the building to use for our kids. It must be cleared through that clearinghouse. So when we talk about district goals, all students will reach high standards with the minimum attaining the following proficiency. Our district goals are to increase the percent of students achieving a Lexile measure at the targeted grade levels, 3rd grade, 5th grade, 8th grade, and high school American Lit, which is 10th or 11th grade, just depending on whether you're taking an AP Lane class or you're just taking American Lit, to 55% as measured by the Georgia Milestones Assessment Scores. And let me backtrack a second. If you are taking AP Language, you no longer have to take the milestones. The state removed that as a requirement because they will let the AP Lane exam take the place of the American Lit milestones. The second district goal is to decrease the percentage of students absent from school 6 or more days from 48.4% to 30%. And these two goals are directly related to our first 3 strategic priorities. Priority 1, get students reading on grade level. Well, Lexile scores is a measure of how well they read and comprehend. Be successful on the Georgia milestones. We know if students achieve a higher Lexile level, we know if they are more proficient readers, they are going to be more successful on the milestones assessment. And not just the English language arts milestones, they will be more successful on the biology milestones, the Algebra 1 milestone, and the U.S. history milestone. And to increase the number of students in school each day. And that goes directly to decreasing this percentage of students missing 6 or more days. Be a second to look at those goals. Now we'll look at our school goals. At Central, our 2 specific school goals, our goals align to those 3 priorities. All students will reach high standards with the minimum attaining the following proficiency. We will increase the percentage of students reading on grade level by 5%. And the district goal talks about American Lit, but we want to measure students' reading proficiency at each grade level. So we want to measure where they are in 9th grade and what effect our practices had on increasing their reading level by the time they leave 9th grade. Same thing with 10th grade. So we really don't want to get to 11th grade, and that's the first time we really truly measure whether what we're doing impacts our students' reading level. So we use our STAR data. That's why a lot of you parents, you may have gotten phone calls about, hey, we need your child to take the STAR assessment, because we really needed that data to see where our kids are. And by putting in intentional strategies to help them become better readers in all content areas, we feel like we will be able to increase their reading levels by the time they get ready to take this milestone in 11th grade. We also want to increase the percentage of students scoring proficient or distinguished by 3% on the Georgia milestones. And again, this is a direct correlation to increasing their reading levels. When we talk about reading, we're not, in a high school, we're not talking about reading in the sense of when we're in elementary schools. We think about reading in elementary school and it's a subject unto itself. But in the high school, the reading is more of reading in the content areas. How do you read this text in science? How do you make sense of this text? How do you synthesize what you read and really show a competent understanding of the material? Can you analyze it? Can you turn around and tell me what you read and put it in your own words? Can you critically analyze what you read and make connections between that and other topics? Those are those higher order thinking skills that we try to work with our students on, that really and truly aren't dictated by a test. It's dictated by what they will need when they get into the world and have to fend for themselves. When they're working in the world or they're owning their own business, we want them to be critical thinkers. So they need to be able to analyze, they need to be able to comprehend. So we're doing that content literacy through our Core 6 strategies in every classroom. And we also want to decrease the percentage of students missing more than 10% of enrolled days, 3%. In 2017, 2018, we had 10.6% of our students who missed more than 10% of the enrolled days. We want that number to decrease to 7.6% by the end of this year. Now that's challenging because right now we're in a virtual world. So we may have to tweak some things. We may have to figure out how are we going to get to this measure. We stress to our students that they need to log into advisement each day. Advisement is where we're taking attendance while we are fully remote. If and when students return to the building, then there'll be students who are in the building. Their attendance will go back to being taken during their all 7 classes, but students who remain in the remote learning option will still need to sign in to advisement each day. But again, we'll talk about that more if and when we get to that point when students are returning to the building. What curriculum does our school use? Well, for English language learners, we want to make sure that we're first and foremost using English language development standards. And those ELL students, there are dedicated staff who come in and work with those students if they have been identified as ELL students. Our overall curriculum is based on the Georgia Standards of Excellence. Each content has GSE standards that they abide by. There are additional things that come in. AP would be, they have some things that are different in the way the content is organized. And as you all know, we're an IB school, so there are some different strategies and things we put in place to make sure we have the students prepared for the IB exams as well. Some other additional curriculum resources we use is Rewards. Rewards is a program that we use with our 9th graders who have been identified in targeted remediation. Those are students who have performed in the bottom 25th percentile on their STAR assessments in middle school. So those students in 9th grade will take a reading enrichment course where we will use the Rewards program to provide direct instruction and attempt to fill those gaps that they have when they got to high school. So this is more like your elementary and middle school reading class, but this is only for a targeted group of students who have been identified based on their past performance on STAR assessments. We also use Accelerated Reader, and Accelerated Reader is not just the students reading the books, taking the test. There's also lessons that are there for teachers to utilize based on what the students scored on their STAR assessments. So that STAR assessment will tell the teacher the student is struggling with this area or that area and give them recommendations for lessons to utilize in their class that will help to fill those gaps that those students have. We also use Freckle, and Freckle is also tied to the Renaissance Learning Program, just like Accelerated Reader is. So the student takes the STAR Reader and we generate lessons for them in reading. Well, same thing with math. When they take the STAR Math, Freckle will generate a list of areas where they've exhibited some weakness, areas where they've exhibited strengths, but it will give them a prescription, give the teachers a prescription for what they can assign to those students to assist them with the areas of difficulty. My own, Sora, Destiny, those are all things that we're utilizing to support our independent reading plan, where students can go in and check out books and read books digitally and then go back and take Accelerated Reader tests. But this is all in an effort to increase their Lexile levels. And we actually presented our independent reading plan to students this morning during advisement, or the first part anyway, and they'll get the second part tomorrow. And then we'll kick off our school-wide independent reading time next week in advisement. So I'm gonna pause for a second to see if anyone has any questions related to anything I just said. You can enter your questions into the chat bar, or you can unmute yourself to ask the question. Just taking a picture of my screen. We don't have any questions. I guess I will keep moving. So what is the College and Career Readiness Performance Index? So that is CCRPI, and that's the state's accountability method used to measure school performance. The indicators below will be used to determine performance instead of a single test score. Content mastery, that's how well students are doing on the milestones. Progress, how have we moved kids from one band to another band in terms of achievement. Closing the gaps. If the student was performing below grade level, in terms of where are they with their same peers, the students who they scored in the same grade band with last year, when they take their next assessment, have we closed the gap between those two groups? Readiness. And readiness is built on a lot of things. Dual enrollment classes is built on literacy rate. So there are a lot of subcomponents of readiness. And then, of course, graduation rate, which applies only to high schools. We're hopeful to get the graduation rate for the class of 2020 from the DOE in the next couple of weeks. Normally, we'd have those rates by now, but of course, everything is still a little bit behind schedule right now. But we are anticipating a pretty good rate. That's what we're anticipating based on our projections. So understand that we did not get a CCRPI score for the 2019-2020 school year. I'm gonna go back one slide real quick because a big part of the CCRPI is built on content mastery and progress in closing gaps. Well, we didn't take milestones last year. So being that we did not take the milestones last year, we did not have an opportunity to have that documentation to compute a score. And yes, Ms. Austin, I just saw your question, and it is in the chat box. The link to the sign in is in the chat box.
Thank you.
You are welcome. In fact, I'm gonna go and put it in again so it'll show up. So we'll go back to the CCRPI score. Like I said, we did not get a score for last year because we didn't take milestones assessments. The last scores we have are from 18-19, and at that time, the district score was 68.5. The high school average was 65.2. Our average at Central was our score at Central was 62.9. And as I covered last year when I had this meeting with parents, our big drop was in progress scores, okay? We didn't see a significant drop in our content mastery scores. We saw an increase in our literacy scores, but where we did see a drop of more than 10 points was in our progress, which means our students were performing as well or better than they did the year before, but we didn't make the progress. We didn't close the gaps between students in Group A and Group B. So we really had some specific strategies that we implemented last year to close those gaps. But again, we did not get to assess. So we don't know how those efforts would have turned out. But we're still moving forward with those efforts this year. We've brought in some additional professional learning for our teachers in differentiating instruction and data analysis, really focusing on how to use that data from formative assessments. You saw FIP earlier as one of our district goals, one of our district non-negotiables, which is formative instructional practices. So how do we take assessment data and how do we change our instruction to ensure that we're giving kids what they need to be successful? I've said this to parents many times, and I've said to my teachers, we're no longer in a time where we can teach a class. We can't teach classes anymore. We've got to teach students, which means we've got to teach individual students based on what their needs are. That doesn't mean the teacher has to do 28 different lesson plans for every kid in the room. But what that means is the teacher has to know what that student's weaknesses and strengths and weaknesses are. And they've got to figure out a way to fill those gaps along the way and provide scaffolding so that we could give kids what they have to, their own grade level work, but also if there are some things that they have not mastered, we've got to make sure we go back and fill those gaps in. And I think by focusing on the data, by being really strategic about how we're providing remediation and tutorials and enrichment, we're going to see that we're improving our students' academic achievement. So we're talking about testing, we talked about milestones, and we talked about what test will my child take. Well, the WIDA assessment is an assessment that's given to English language learners. So if a student is identified as an ELL student, they will take the WIDA assessment. All students are asked to take, as we talked about, the STAR reading and STAR math assessment. That gives us a baseline for where our students are. That lets us know the things that we need to work with them on in those specific areas to increase their reading and increase their math. Again, this is not elementary school. We're not doing phonics. We're not decoding and sounding out words, but we are working more in the vein of content literacy. How do you use these strategies to help make sense of the text? And those are those critical thinking skills and strategies that we're working with our students on. Students will take Georgia milestones. Now, there is still some debate on the Georgia milestones. The state superintendent, Superintendent Woods, had submitted a waiver that Georgia be exempt from taking milestones this year as we were last year. Well, the federal government has indicated that they are not going to approve that waiver, so that we will have to take milestones because really milestones are federal requirements. But what the state had already done prior to this was reduce the amount of tests that we had to take in high schools. Where in the past, we were taking 2 math EOCs. We were taking 2 in science, 2 in social studies, and 2 in English language arts. Now we're only taking 1 assessment in each content area. So at this point, students will take Algebra 1, Biology, US History, and American Literature. So those are the only 4 courses where students will have to take a milestones. Again, right now we're taking the milestones in terms of how much will that score count as a part of their overall grade. The State Department of Education, the state school board, and the state superintendent are working through that process now. But as it stands right now, we will be taking milestones this year. And again, what we tell our teachers, we're not teaching to the test. If we teach our students the skills necessary to be successful in the world, they will do fine on a test. If we teach content literacy, if we figure out what our kids need to be successful, we make them better readers, they will do fine on any test. So we're not teaching to the test, we're teaching skills and strategies that they can use to master any test. Formative and summative assessments, these are assessments that are created by the teacher, whether they're formative, which is ongoing all the time, or formative assessment can be a simple thumbs up to figure out whether your students have it or not. Quick polls that you could send to your students. So those are things that teachers are creating in their classrooms each day. Let me change something. District unit assessments are assessments that the district has created that all students are taking in content areas. So every student in Bibb County will take the same district unit assessment if they're in 9th grade lit. Same thing in Algebra 1, Algebra 2, World Lit. There's a district assessment that they take at the end of each unit. That allows us to see how our students are performing, but also to compare what's happening at our school to what's happening at other schools in the district. So there may be a school that's knocking it out of the park in American government. Well, we can have some conversations with those teachers to see what strategies are you using. The same things that we do in our building when we look at the results of our school-based formative and summative assessments, where we have those data conversations and we figure out what's working, what could work better for this teacher, or what works better for that student. We have those same conversations across schools as well. IB exams are only for those students who are taking IB courses, AP exams, only those students who are taking AP courses, and we're offering at Central. We don't offer as many AP courses as other schools because of the fact that we are an IB school. So we offer AP Government, we offer AP World History, and this year we're offering AP US History and AP Language. Again, we don't offer as many AP courses as the other high schools because of the fact we offer the International Baccalaureate courses. So students can also take those IB exams, and they can take that IB test, and they can get college credit from those just as they would for from an AP exam. And then they will also take end of pathway assessments. End of pathway assessments are what they would take when they complete a CTAE pathway. Okay, so before I get to what is family engagement, if you would like to ask a question about the test, you can unmute yourselves and ask that question, or you can put it in the chat bar. Okay, I don't see any questions. So for family engagement means the participation of parents and family members in regular two-way and meaningful communication involving student academic learning and other school activities. Parents play an integral role in assisting their child's learning, and we encourage you to be actively involved in their education because you are full partners in this. We can't do it on our own. You can't do it on your own. We've got to help each other. The district requirements for family engagement in support of strengthening academic achievement, the district has a formal parent and family engagement plan. I'm just getting a picture of my screen, just a little evidence for me. The district developed this parent and family engagement plan that establishes expectations and objectives for meaningful engagement. And at the school, we turn around and we have to create our school level Title I Parent and Family Engagement Plan. This plan describes how Central will provide opportunities to improve family engagement and support student learning. We value the contributions and involvement of parents and family members to establish an equal partnership for the common goal of improving student achievement. This plan also describes different ways that Central will support family engagement and how parents can help plan, and participate in activities and events to promote student learning at school and at home. Give me 1 second, I need to grab a bottle of water. Okay. So the district must also develop a family engagement plan, just as schools do. Due to COVID, this plan may remain active for the 2020-21 school year. Revisions and updates will be made and distributed to families as changes are made, with the goal of having a new and updated plan for the 2021-2022 school year. So what you're seeing here is just a screenshot of the Central Parent and Family Engagement Plan. And again, this plan was developed back in the spring. We'll come back this coming spring and we'll again review this plan with you all and see if we need to make revisions. Each school must develop this plan. And we're gonna, a few things that are in this plan actually would have to be tweaked because of the environment that we're in now. And anytime those changes happen, we will update you on those revisions and changes. But our plan describes how we carry out parent and family engagement requirements to ensure effective engagement of parents and to support a partnership among the school, parents, and the community to improve student academic achievement. This is our school compact. Each school that receives title funds must jointly develop and revise with parents and students a school parent compact. And again, this document was revised back in the spring. Matter of fact, we got done with this right before COVID and before we went out for e-learning. These two documents, the family engagement plan and the compact, these are two of the documents I will be emailing to you at the conclusion of this meeting. The Title I guidebook provides parents with information on family engagements and ESSA mandates. So this is a book that the district provides with the family engagement plans and compacts for each school that's provided for parents and students. What you're seeing here is the right to know letter. We talked about earlier, part of your rights is to have the right to request information concerning the qualification of your child's teachers and our paraprofessionals. I can tell you that all the teachers at Central are highly qualified. But again, you have the right to request this information. If there was a situation where a teacher was not highly qualified, then what you see here is a notification letter, and we would send this letter to you. I'm sorry, wrong letter. This is our supplemental language letter that you're seeing now. And this is where we have to send notification in language and format appropriate for the reader to parents of English language learners who participate in the district's Title III or Title I supplemental language program. We have to provide this notification not later than 30 days after the beginning of the school year. For children who have not been identified as ELs during the school year, the district will notify the children's parents during the first 2 weeks of the EL student being placed in a supplemental language program. When a child exits from the state's ESOL program, the child will also exit from the extra language services. As a parent, you have the right to refuse these additional services and supports for your child. So, family engagement opportunities. The district requires, or the grant, the Title I grant requires that we have opportunities for families to engage. Again, what you see are things that we've had in the past that were engagement opportunities. Open house, curriculum nights, parent learning days, career fest, FAFSA day, clearinghouse process nights. And what I've got here is this area is under construction. Because we had all these things in our plan, but because of where we are with COVID and protocols, we cannot conduct these things like we have in the past. So we're working now on figuring out how we're going to develop these virtual curriculum nights. How can we do some virtual parent learning days? And you really have that opportunity for the virtual parent learning days, because the way that worked was you just got to go to class with your child each class period. You have access as a parent to their Canvas page. So some of this you can see as you follow along. But again, we're going to work the logistics out of that and put something formally together for those type things. There will be a career fest this year. It'll just be done virtually. And in the last couple of charger connections, I've had that save the date information in there. We had a FAFSA day yesterday virtually for our seniors. I think we had about 45 seniors to participate yesterday. So Mr. Jackson from TRIO will be setting up additional times to do that as well. Ways to volunteer. I will just start with this disclaimer. All of these are on hiatus at this point due to pandemic protocols. Normally, we have field trips, proctoring for assessments, office support, booster clubs and organizations, carpool duty, media center, cafeteria duty. These are all ways in the past that we allow parents to volunteer, but again, right now, we're not able to do these things. ways you can provide input and make decisions. School council, I put in the newsletter last night. We're still looking for at least 2 additional members of our school council. We have 2 members, but parents have to be the majority on the council. I, as the principal, sit on the council, and there are also 2 teacher representatives on the council, which means we have to have at least 4 parents on the council. So if you are interested in serving on the school council, or you know someone that is, have them to go to the Charter Connection and use that link to submit their name. The Title I survey will be distributed in November through December, where you can provide input. When we do our Title I planning meetings in the spring, our FACE forums, working on the compact. Parent-teacher conferences, of course, those are virtual right now, but the opportunity is still there to do those. District and school forums, again, done virtually, and the district has Victory in Schools Parent University, which they're still having virtual sessions. So what will the virtual Parent University offer? Learning sessions aligned to our district goals. Remember, our district goals were around students getting reading on grade level and increasing the number of students in school each day. Online workshops, videos and resources on the following strands: student achievement, health and wellness, and personal growth and development. And you can register for Parent University by going to the district's website and click on resources for virtual learning. And again, I'm sending this presentation to you, so you'll have this information as well. How will we be responsive to families? And in this virtual world, it is vital that we respond back to families. I know at times you don't get the communication as fast as you want it. But one thing I've always stressed to my parents, and my teachers know that I'm saying this. In the past, I would tell the parent, if you didn't get a response back within 3 working days, then you need to, when you send another email, to copy me on it, and I will make sure you get a response. I don't know if we have 3 days anymore, and I've told my teachers they've got an asynchronous day every other day. So they should be responding back. Now, they may, if they've got live classes on Monday and Thursday, they're probably not going to respond back on Monday and Thursday, but they should be responding back on Tuesday and Friday. And if that's not happening, then we ask that you let us know, and we will facilitate you getting that response. What I've got on the screen now is our first responders list. And what I explained this in the Charter Connection. Normally, the first thing we do is we email the principal. And I have no problem with you all emailing me. But most of the times when you email me, if it's about something that I am not acutely aware of, I'm going to send that to the person in charge of that area. And so what will happen is it may prolong your response. So, because I need to find out the exact information. So what is more helpful for you if you need a quicker answer is to use this first responders form and email the individual who is directly responsible for that. For instance, if it's a question about accelerated reader, it's Dr. Gray, my media specialist. If it's about AP, it's Dr. Reese, my assistant principal for operations. If it's about athletics, the first contact should be the head coach of that sport, and then the second contact would be Coach Taylor, who's the athletics director. So these are the first responders. If it is an issue with SAT, ACT testing, college information, schedules, transcripts, parent meetings, scholarships, that information goes to the counselor. And if they're 9th grade or a senior whose last name begins with the letters A through G, their counselor will be Miss Lamar. If they're a sophomore or they're senior with the last name H through Q, then it's Miss Brown. If they're a 11th grader or a senior whose last name begins with R through Z, they will email Miss Frio. So this gives you a direct link to the individual who is directly in charge of that particular area. So I've included this first responders list in the principal's post the last couple of weeks. And I'm also going to email a copy of the first responders list out as well with the other documentation from this meeting. And I do see a couple of questions. We're posting as we get scholarship information. We'll be putting that information into the principal's post. But again, you can always contact your counselor, and they may have information that I have not received. So always check with your counselor about scholarship information. Yes, this meeting will be recorded, but also we're going to repeat this meeting at 4 o'clock this afternoon, Ms. Williams. But this meeting will be recorded, and we will be sharing that information. I didn't share anything directly about seniors. I was really just going over who the senior counselors or which seniors would report to which counselor. Because basically the only information we're sharing this morning is related to the school-wide Title I plan. And other ways that we're trying to be responsive, this is email. We try to respond through email, and teachers can also email students through Canvas, message them through Canvas. We do virtual meetings through Microsoft Teams. We are doing Zoom this morning only because the chat features have been disabled in Microsoft Teams. So that's why I'm using Zoom for this meeting. We have a central Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter page where and most of the time it's myself or other staff members. We're constantly updating these pages with all pertinent information. Let's Talk if you have a question you want to put into Let's Talk, that will be routed to us at the school as well. And we're also using Remind. The district uses Remind, and I try to use Remind here at Central to get information out, and all of the teachers are using Remind as well. So we try to be responsive through all these areas to ensure that we get you the information that you need and keep you abreast of what's going on at the school. And here's the way that district can be responsive to other efforts. The Director of Supplemental Services and Migrant Liaison is Dr. Nancy Forday. The Homeless Liaison is Dr. Danielle Jones. The interpreter, if you need an interpreter, Amy O'Valley. And Program for Exceptional Children, Parent Mentors, the number for that is listed here as well. So these are district level contacts that assist with title services as well. So at this point, that ends my presentation. And again, we're going to open the floor up for questions. You can put your questions in the chat, or you can email, or you can unmute yourselves to ask your question.
Do all of these things apply to the students, whether they decide to go back or not? Should they return? If you guys make the decision to allow the students to go back in November?
Yes, what we're doing will still be in effect whether we are all virtual or whether we have a blended face-to-face virtual environment.
Thank you.
I'm going to post, and I will say this. I put in, and I didn't mean to put it in there. I think I just put in the wrong. The link that I just placed in the chat bar was the link to the evaluation. I also am going to repost the sign-in link. I really meant to post the sign-in link, but I posted the evaluation link. But if you've already signed in, then the evaluation link is the one you see. And after a couple of minutes, I'm going to repost the sign-in link for those who did not get to sign in. Ms. Williams, I see your hand. Unmute yourself and ask your question, please.
Good morning, all. So my question is, I know we have the first response contact list, but
Mhm.
is there a list with all phone numbers that they can call for IT? Because I'm wondering if in the event we contact someone on their first response and my child is waiting on someone to respond, we can go ahead and make that call so he can probably get in faster.
Right. And there's certain things that are district IT issues and some that are school-based, but I will make sure that, I think I've got those numbers on there, but I'll make sure, if not, I've got all the available numbers for technology support.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. And my chat bar has disappeared. Let me go back and find it, because I see I've got some in there.
You have a question, Mr. Frazier, that says, does Canvas Parent consist of real-time updates?
And I'm not familiar. Does Canvas Parent consist of real-time updates? I don't totally understand the question. Can you, what I'm thinking you may mean, if you are in as an observer in your child's Canvas class, if that's what you're meaning, then as the students see updates or as the teacher updates the page, it should update for everyone. As soon as the teacher puts something on their page and they publish it, then it's viewable to anyone who has rights to that page or who has access to that page.
And another parent asked about ClassLink parent access.
I don't think parents get ClassLink access, but I can ask that question, but I'm pretty sure ClassLink is only for students and district staff. But I will ask that question of technology and I will respond. But I'm pretty sure that that is only available for students and parents. I mean, students and staff.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Frazier,
Good
Ms.
morning.
Murphy, and Dr. Gray. So, because like right now, I'm in my son's ClassLink, and it says in here there's a link, ClassLink for parents, but when I click on it, it keeps asking me for a registration code. So, yeah, if you could get back with me on that, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am, I will, because I did not realize that, because I guess I don't see that in my ClassLink page. So let me see, who am I? I'm trying to see who was asking that question. I can't see my chat.
It's Miss Merriweather, Doris
Okay.
Merriweather.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. We
All right,
will do that.
Thank you.
All right.
Another question, what help is provided for kids who are online remotely?
That assistance would come from the teacher. If it's like assistance with an assignment, then they should be able to contact their teacher to get assistance with that. If it's doing a remote learn, if it's doing one of their asynchronous days, if it's doing a live day, then the teacher should be directly there. And then if it's on an async day, that should be them contacting or messaging their teacher about the assignment.
And LaShonda asked how to sign into the meeting. LaShonda, if you scroll up to the top, the link is at the top, and Mr. Frazier also put another link at the bottom. You can click to sign in to the meeting today.
I just posted it back in there as well. Are there any additional questions?
Do you happen to know when we'll find out the determination of whether the kids are going to be going back to school or not?
I do not know that. I will tell you the next board meeting is the 22nd of this month. And I would think if a decision is made, that's when it will be made. But again, that's just me speculating, but that's when the next board meeting is.
Okay.
One more question, a web-based login for Canvas, is there one?
Dr. Reese, you must think I'm the IT technology expert.
I'm reading the question.
I'm thinking the only place I know we access Canvas is through ClassLink, or if you download the app
Yeah.
on your device. I'm not
As a
sure
parent, you can go into you'll get access, you'll sign up for access, and you can log in actually on the web. You'll go through a Bibb County page, and it will ask you for a sign-in, and you register, and you'll be able to do it that way as a parent. So you just have to visit the Bibb County website and go to the parent portion of that and go to remote learning, and it should be some information on how to sign up for Parent Canvas.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, I was having trouble with getting the current teachers that my child have updated on Reminder.
I'm sorry.
How do I go about getting the current teachers that my child have this year on Reminder?
So you're not getting remind messages from your child's teacher, is what you're saying?
Yes, it's coming through my email, but not the app.
All right, what I will need you to do is to email that to me directly, so I'll have your name and information, and then I can see if we can figure out why it's not coming to the app.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any additional questions? Well, again, thank you all for joining us this morning. If you have not, please ensure that you sign in as well as do the evaluation form. We really need that information. Again, everyone who was in the meeting today, I will give you will have access to the recording. We will send you the documentation from today's meeting so that you have it for your usage. Thank you so much and have a great rest of your day.
Mr. Frazier,
Yes.
I'm sorry. I think I only have the sign-in link. You said there should be a separate link for the evaluation?
Yes, I'll put it in one more time.
All right, thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry, it just went to one person. Let me get to everyone. Okay, should be in the chat now.
Thanks.
I'm gonna hang out for a few minutes if anybody has any additional questions.